Welcome to the No Ideas Original Podcast featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Zane. We got DV Alias Khryst is going to be joining us in a few minutes. Let's get him in. What's good, brother?
What's up, bro, man? How you feel, kid?
I'm high. I'm getting better.
Yeah?
Better each day, man.
God bless you, man. I reached out to your daughter once or twice, man. She took it a little hard too, man. God bless all y'all, man. Your brothers, Yada, Reem, even LT, man, your whole family, your sons. It was a big loss, man.
Yeah,
And
appreciate it.
personally, I was a little sad, man, because not only you and then Theo,
Yo, too,
I was
yeah.
like, what's going on with that, B? That was a tough mix, but I know you guys are strong guys, man, so I know y'all will push through, but you still got to deal with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, it was very shocking for us
Right.
because my mom spent Christmas with us. And for those who don't know, what Rob
Really?
talking about is my mom passed over the holidays.
Yeah.
She was up. We had Christmas get together at the house, and it was sudden. She ended up passing on the 28th, and I spoke to her on the 27th, and my mom had like a little ritual she would do where she would text. She had a group text where she would text myself and my brother. She texts us
Right.
every morning.
Right.
That morning I didn't get the text from her.
Right.
I didn't really think much of it
Anything
because
is wrong.
I was high qual. I think that morning also I wasn't feeling well, so I went to urgent care to get tested, high qual it to see if I had COVID, and they had gave me an appointment to come back. So I came back and
Mhm.
ended up laying down taking a nap, and her boyfriend actually called me, and I woke up. He called me, and I happened to wake up and answer the phone, and
Right.
he's the one who broke the news to me. So
Wow. And everything was good on Christmas.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
God bless y'all, man. Janelle and I was in here just shaking our heads, man, because there's just been so much loss in the past couple of years. It's just been remarkable, man. Shout out to Theo, man, as well, because he lost his mom's as well. I always tell people, man, mourning is a tough thing, but what helps me get through mourning is always keeping the best of thoughts of those individuals when they were here, whether it was a conversation, whether it was just a hug. You know what I'm saying? Some of the smallest things that you got to keep with you. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah.
what it
Nah,
is.
it's rough. It's rough, but I'm fortunate. Like my mom had the opportunity to experience. I had the opportunity to experience with her what most people would want to experience with their kids. Like met all my children, see me graduate
Right,
from college, see me buy a house.
right. So she was very proud of you, man.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to find him.
God is in there.
I don't see him. Let me
Who's
see if
checking in, son? Who we got in the building? I see you, see me. See me, Chaz, your fly self. Gemini energy out there jumping out. Who else is in there? Reading with Dr. Wade. I put some dope books out there, Doc. Check those out. I am majestic. Shout out to you.
Yeah, but how
Looking
you
for me
been, man?
out there. I've been good. Like I told you, son, I'm putting on to see my cheeks, right? I'm putting on some weight because the food is good at home, man. Um, and I can't move around the way I want. It's been so cold. I can't even shovel the snow outside. It's been so cold up here, man. So my only means of anything calisthenics or working out is going to walk the dogs. I try to walk them at least twice a day or something like that.
Mm.
Outside of that, health is great. Health is great, man. I have an appointment next Friday just to check my levels. And my appointments are now a month apart now.
Oh,
Before it
okay.
was like every week, every 2 weeks. Now they're once a month.
You
So that's
feeling
just
good though?
yo, son. I just need to get rid of the chubbiness now, son. got me telling. I feel like my old self. I used to be a fat kid when I grew up, man. So now I'm like, son, am I getting back? Nah, I don't want that. I used to be a slim guy, man. And but I feel great, man. I'm really waiting for the weather to break so I can really put it to the test and get some working out, play some ball, that
I,
type of stuff, man.
I told you, man. I keep telling you, yo, that Peloton is a good investment.
Yep. And it's a good investment, but like I said, a buddy of mine's, well, a friend of Nell's, has sent us the app for Peloton. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't technically have to have the bike. You can
Uh,
put it right on your screen, attach it to your phone to your television, and have a workout there. And I've done a couple of stretching workouts, but nothing too crazy, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, I guess it really depends on if you want to, like if you want to do the cycling or not. I know the app does have like all the different workouts. Did you get a chance to
Yeah.
listen to Nas's Magic album?
Hold on. Did I? I think I did. Yeah, I did. I did check it out. Yeah, that was the one he threw in there with Wave Guard. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, this dude he found the fountain of youth all of a sudden.
Nah, he found Hit Boy. Hit Boy got that heat. Hit Boy got that heat, and he a young dude, and he want to work. So for Nas, him being an OG to the young cat, for him, it's probably like, dang, I got the OG wanting to fuck with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nas is in his bag. I think he got King's Disease 3 coming out
Yeah.
very
I'm,
soon. So
I was surprised because originally I was like, I don't want to see him with Hit Boy anymore. Remember I said
right,
that? I'm
right,
like,
right.
man, but that was like, I'm like, yo, that was a good project.
Hit Boy got some choice, man. I hear Hit Boy with Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine. I'm hearing that Hit Boy signature in a lot of different places, man. So he's out there pushing it for real.
Hit Boy did the new joint with Kanye and Game too.
Did he? See, look at that. See,
Yeah.
he's the new Pharrell right now. Everybody wants a Hit Boy track now. So
Yeah, he did the new joint with Kanye and Game.
how's the family, bro?
They're all right,
Good.
going through it, but for the
Right.
most part,
Babies is all right.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
grown babies, now they all grown, but they still the
yeah,
baby.
yeah. But they, of course, they all took it hard too,
Absolutely, absolutely,
So, like I said, like
absolutely.
we were all here in my house on Christmas, and everything seemed all good, like laughing, joking, having a good time. So everybody was blindsided by it, you know.
That's crazy, man. And
Yeah.
was mom's pretty much healthy? I mean, she
She
had.
had her health has started declining, um, like over the years, and I think the pandemic didn't help because the inactivity, like she wasn't trying to go out like that. So when you're not going out, you're not getting that exercise, and then also like the other thing that I always tell people, like in retirement, people don't realize retirement is difficult. Retirement requires that you still have to remain active. Like you could take a little bit
Active.
of time off, but your body for 30 years has gotten used to getting up, going out and being
Right,
productive. And early on in my mom's retirement, she was getting up, going out, traveling, shopping, doing
right.
a whole bunch of stuff. But like once the pandemic rolled around, she wasn't trying to be out. She was like, no, she was afraid to be out. She was like, I'm not going out.
Yeah,
I'm not
a
interacting
lot of
with anything. And Christmas is a big time for us. Like every Christmas, we usually get together. Christmas of 2020 though was the first time in many years that we didn't have Christmas together because of the
because
pandemic.
of the
So this
pandemic.
year, everybody was excited to get together for um
Right.
for Christmas.
Wow. Yeah, the pandemic has put a lot of people on pause. A lot of people very scared to step out, even go to the store. A buddy of mine, his mom's is like, yo, I'm not going nowhere. She's elderly too, man, and she's
Mm-hmm.
super paranoid about anybody even being around her. She don't even want to see her own kids. Like, nah, send me a text. I'll text you.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Stay over. In other words, stay over there. Don't even come see me. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
no,
So,
yeah, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are
yeah.
definitely afraid.
I kept my ass in the house since March of 2020. The only time I go out is if I have an appointment and I may go to the store. I stay away from all crowds. I keep gloves. Sometimes I even put gloves on when I'm out there. I'm not touching anything, touching no doorknobs, nothing that I can contract anything from a
Mm-hmm.
germs perspective. Keeping my hands clean. I carry sanitizer with me. I carry wipes with me. I'm like a paranoid mom with an infant. Like, make sure I'm good, spraying shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But you just got to be vigilant, man. And unfortunately, most people they just have bad habits, man. And those bad habits turn into a way of life because they've been conditioned. Niggas wiping their nose and shit and coughing all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And that's why it's proceeding and sticking around because people just don't know personal care as much as they should. Peace.
What's good,
Peace,
bro? How you
peace.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. You brothers, pardon me for the slight tardiness.
It's all right. Good to
That's
see
good.
you.
But so we got Trigger the Gambler also in the comments. Yo, well, thank you for agreeing to do this, man. We appreciate it. It's great to have you on. So for those who don't know, we're talking to DV Alias Khryst,
Yes,
Yes,
SMG,
yes.
sir.
Brooklyn zone. Yo, to us, you were like the East Coast Nate Dogg. I don't know if you realize that or not. Yo, the only difference,
Now,
the
you know
only
why I
difference
say,
is
oh
that
my God? Because nobody ever says to Nate Dogg that he's the East Coast Christ.
yeah.
Wow.
The only you
See
know what
that?
the only difference
You
is to
get
me
what I'm
though?
saying? It's like people make the comparison because of him doing hooks for other people and shit like that or whatever. But you really can't compare us because
Right.
I spit. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
I
what I was
make
gonna
beats.
say.
Like it's just more to me than just doing hooks. It's just that's the wave niggas caught on to because they fuck with my voice. So it's like,
Right.
yo, do a hook, but I'm far from any version of Nate Dogg. Like
Yo, that to
shout out
me,
to that brother.
that to me was the difference. The fact that you actually rhymed also, and I didn't realize back then you were young with that voice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
son.
I started. I mean, well, shit. I got uh speaking about myself and Trig and all, like we had got like our first introduction to the game through Tommy Mottola and Faith Newman at like 14.
Mm,
And then that situation didn't go through. And when I signed to Def Jam, I was 17 and a half.
look at that.
So
Right.
Yo, a
But your
lot of
career,
people don't do.
you started off at like 14, right? Wasn't you in the industry around 14?
I've been in the industry shit. I want to say since about 12. Cause my mom's is, she's been in the music and, music business for
Okay.
44 years and I'm
Mm,
44. So, you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah?
saying? So she been around this shit forever. Like, so I always been in the studio, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like my uncle Greg Lawrence, like he worked on shit for Houdini and,
mm.
like mad. So I would see I would see Run DMC and, cause my aunt lived on 215 in Hollis right next to Davy DMX.
Wow.
So I would see them Easy, the Afros.
Damn.
Like David DMX was like possibly one of like the first industry individual to like hear me and be like, when I was like 13, he heard me sing. He was like, yo, you gonna be big.
Yo, you mentioned Faith Newman, and I think a lot of people don't realize how Faith Newman, how just entrenched she was and involved with a lot of stuff. Like Faith Newman was the person who got Nas's deal at Columbia, right?
Yep. And she also signed my partner, Ron Recker, that was down, with us and shit too. We
Yeah.
were all down together.
So
Yeah,
even
he was definitely on your Barry White shit. That song Show and Prove. I love that, Lord. For
Oh,
real,
good
son.
looking, God. I appreciate that.
As he was blowing your vocal cords, I was like, hold on, the God singing? Get out of
I
here.
got now, that I got some shit coming where I just feel, but because like when Smooth Trigger and myself, when we came out, um, sorry about that. When we came out, we were always big on styles. You know
mm,
what I'm
Right.
saying? Like just having mad style. Like it's we got so many styles that haven't been introduced. You know what I'm saying to the game that is fucking crazy. We would sit in the hallway and they hallway on 257 Saratoga and just come up with styles, jump funk, like all these different flows and shit like this. So it's spooky for me because people like I'm just getting started. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's the crazy shit. Like for like respectfully speaking, niggas is still eating off our old flows.
How
Like
about that?
we're so like we way advanced.
They ahead of your time. That's right.
Yeah, like we way advanced in the shit. Like broken language, like niggas is so past that. And like in current space, like niggas is so much past that. Like my crew can't go. Like we just so much past that. So it's like now for me, it's fun like a motherfucker to be able to put out music in the climate of things now, because
Right.
I'm so much of a unicorn to an extent. You know,
That's
it's
right.
like when I came out, niggas wasn't doing this shit the way I was doing it. They wasn't doing it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's right.
it's funny you mentioned that because I was, and one of the questions I have for you is that if you look at what you were doing then versus what hip hop is now, like at 17 back then, you understood the importance of melodies and incorporating melodies in rap. Now everybody is it's melodic. Like all the new hip hop that's going on, people are really incorporating these melodies. So I wonder, just like from your perspective, was that something strategic, and what are your thoughts about how people actually introduce melodies now in hip hop?
I mean, it was strategic. It was strategic between me and DR. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because when DR. Period, um, when he heard me, he told me like, "Yo, that shit should be your style." Cause you know, like I would sing my raps and shit. Like I write the rap and I'll sing it. And DR was like, "That should be your style." I called him up to tell him about a remix idea I had for this joint we had called Footsteps. And he was like, "Yo, man, that shit you was doing with your crew, like that should be your style." And he helped me cultivate it. You know what I'm saying? Like as a producer, you know, like that's people get that word fucked up between, you know, making a beat and being a producer. DR. Period, you know, is a producer, and he knew how to produce vocals, and he knew, you know, he
Yeah.
would give me tips and shit like, "Yo, put your hand over your ear like this and sing into your voice so you can master your tone," you know,
Oh,
and every day. And then, you know, when we did the song Dollar Bill, it was about punching in, like with the ADAT. So he punched me in on the on the 8-bar rap, and then punched me in 4 bars, and then punched me in on the other 4 when I'm singing. And he was like, "If you could master the exchange of this without the punching, you're going to be a fucking problem."
Yo, that
And
was
I practiced that shit every fucking day till I got it, because it's a mental thing.
right.
I ain't just talking about what niggas is doing now. I'm talking about when you singing and riffing and doing all kind of little tricky shit, you know, like
Come up
that
with
shit ain't
a
easy.
masterpiece.
Yeah, it's not easy. And it's crazy because, shout out to Jay and Rock Nation and all that, whatever. But when I heard Beyonce's new approach to singing, I was like, Then I seen Jay in the studio coaching her, and there was times when we would perform at Esso's, and when we was leaving, he big niggas up crazy, and he come up to me like, "Yo, that shit you be doing is fucking crazy."
yo,
So when I would hear, "I hate to get the buck another one to put the
Look at
speed
that,
song,"
dog.
I'm like, "Oh
yeah,
shit!" You know what
Hold
I'm
on.
saying? Like,
I've been
but
doing
but
that
but not
already.
in a way where it made me upset. I was flattered by it. You know, most niggas
Right.
will go to the gram or go and try to vent and make a whole fucking viral spectacle about shit. I'm very private with my receipts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because when I see individuals, it's always love, it's always respect. It's never like, "Oh, this nigga washed," or like
Right.
niggas be looking like, "Yo, son, what's up, man? I know you looking like you about to do something." I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to do something."
yo, when y'all came through though, it was like at
Mm-hmm.
the height of when Brooklyn was eating, like, yo, between Big, Smooth, Trigger, you, Black Moon was a little bit before
The
y'all,
roster
Smith
is crazy out of
Wesson,
Brooklyn, yo.
AZ, Foxy, and I know Smooth was helping Foxy with her pen. It was just so many different people coming out of BK. And I always felt like Smooth the Hustler's first album, Once Upon a Time in America, to me, that's like one of the most solid debut albums that I have ever heard. Like, I remember listening to that album in its entirety and being like, yo, this dude actually, for a first album, put together a nice classic piece of work. You know, and I think that back then there was more emphasis on actually building a body of work rather than just having like one single. What was it like? What was it like putting that album together? Because you were on the dollar bill joint and you were on Murderfest, right?
Yeah, I wrote the hook for Murderfest, and then I sang the little shit in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on Hustling. My everyday lifestyle, that's me in the background. Hustling, gambling, nobody move a muscle.
Yeah.
But once again, man, you know, shout out to DR Period. Like, between Smooth's fucking genius and DR Period's genius and ability to create songs and structure records, and then Smooth's knowledge, you know, of hip hop, and just, you know, the niggas, I mean, he graduated from Murray Bertram, the niggas was fucking brainiac. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you put these two individuals together, like, no cap, like when you put these two niggas together, it was Dre and Snoop before Dre. It was that, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he got me and Trig and supporting cast, you know, we like the Dog Pound, you know, and we all in that motherfucker breaking day and night, smoking, doing what young niggas do.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I think that's the element that, you know, that niggas didn't understand. Like, yeah, we was on some gangster shit, you know, but we was having fun. You feel me? Like, we was having fun. We always have fun doing this shit. So when it wasn't fun no more and things started getting wacky and shit, you know, it became more war than it became fun at that point, because we, you know, like, we came in this shit showing love to everybody, and you know, niggas was bloodsuckers and you know, faking and acting like they fucked with us, but then when the first opportunity for a demise happened, you know, niggas was running to take, you know, take niggas spots and do whatever. So I think for us, we got a real big glimpse of how shady and fake a lot of niggas was in this shit, or is, what was for some that ain't here, or whatever the fuck this, you know, the situation is. But, you know, I'm not bitter. You know, I'm actually happy because I know I got a one up.
That's right.
You know,
Education.
I'm an almanac. You know, like, I've been doing this shit since the mid '80s. So my knowledge of music and where I can pull from, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you've been through it, son. And then your history with your moms and the things you've been around adds to that. Let me ask you, man, how much has lyricism changed, and do today's artists collectively know the power of word versus image?
I mean, no, because, you know, you got to look at it like now, everything is more about being ostentatious,
that's a fact,
you know, than it is about having substance. You know what I'm saying? Like, substance overrides physicality, but not so much in this reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some other shit. So, and then you got to understand too, we didn't have the information highway like everybody else has. Because, you know, that's what the internet was called in the beginning, the information highway.
That's right.
You know, we like, niggas like shit, Misu and Trig, we was in the dictionary. We was going to the library and shit like that. You know, for real, like, trying to fucking strengthen our vocabulary. Like, we was big on lyricism. And the school systems were different. We had after school programs, we had community centers and different, you know, outlets, you know, and we had different OGs back then too, who were intelligent. You know, like, shout out to our brother Babylon. Like, he was a great mentor to us, and, you know, showing us how to you know, strengthen our stage presence. So we had a lot of mentorship throughout our process of doing this music shit. So it's like a lot of these kids don't have the mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have fathers. You know, moving trick father was around. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad lived in the house. You know, like it was different. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
important.
yeah, we had structure. Like our parents didn't fucking play, especially our pops. Because my pops and their pops is crazy because they played basketball together and we didn't even fucking know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how crazy that shit. So it was already ordained for us to, to connect when we did. But to get back on the topic, you got a lot of these kids who on, third and fifth grade reading levels. You know what I'm saying? And because everything that they're looking for information wise, they could just ask Siri or just ask, you feel me? Like they
Right. You could
can
just
ask the
Google it now
phone.
and it come up. Yeah.
It makes the mind lazy. You know
A
what I'm
little bit.
saying? So now if you got 10 rappers that's coming out, how about the sucker? Yeah. 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 And that shit working.
Now it's working, and it
And
is.
that shit working, you're gonna breed a plethora of young, inspiring artists that's going to follow a formula that they see working. So
Right.
I think it's more about what's being introduced to the youth opposed to, it being a lack thereof, because the youth that's present are very intelligent. But when it comes to black art, or you talking about urban art or hip hop music, it's so fucking powerful that the powers that be control it in a way to make a mockery of our intelligence as people.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they let the bullshit get through, and they put all the money behind that. So, white America could look at us and be like, see, they haven't excelled. Meanwhile, there's so many other intelligent, artists that are doing intelligent shit that it's not being highlighted because that's not the light they want us to be depicted in.
Yeah.
And they even and I say them, not just white people. There is a microcosm of individuals that are of all shades that are a part of the oppression of us all. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's a fact.
That's
a fact. So you ever think? And I'm glad you mentioned having an OG or a mentor, and then your pops is there. Will we ever get back to exalting one another the way we used to in the '80s? Like it was good to say brother when you seen someone, or even when I learned from the gods, because my uncle is God body. Just hearing yo peace God, like that resonated in me for one, to think, oh damn, black man is God. Hold on, let me stop for a second and think about that for a second. That connection between the youth and those who are older, it seems to be frayed a lot, and not so much that OGs are hating, but a lot of us are just watching the demise, and like you said, the education of it is a big part. But then also, some of the youth aren't just as receptive when hearing an OG or older, like, yo, shorty, chill out for a second. Nah, fuck that. I ain't going for that shit there. And it's like, pump your brakes for I'm trying to give you a little bit of wisdom. I came from a time where wisdom, like you said, was necessary. If I was doing something bad in the street, nigga grab me by the collar, yo, get to the park, man. You don't need to be out here. You know what I mean? Will we ever get back to that?
I mean, I'm not a psychic, but I would say that, individuals like Nas, even down to myself and a few other brothers, that we just can't be the only ones fighting the good fight, and we need all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? To make this shit cool again, to make being intelligent cool. There were a time when being a poor righteous teacher was cool. But being a public enemy was cool. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm definitely a part of that regime of making intelligence cool. You know, like my acronym for for the team that we started when we were young, SMG. You know, the phrase meant sex, money, and guns, and it still does. But you know, I put a twist to it for the moving forward of things, and I say salute my genius.
How about that?
You know what I'm
How
saying?
about
Because,
that?
you know, when I greet my peoples, I just say my genius, especially in
Right.
front of white people. You know, they love that shit. Like my genius. I like that, you know? Yes, get used to calling us in our rightful space, please. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the crystal ball on it, but right now, you know, being a part of a gang is like being a part of a family at this point, and a lot of these kids don't have families.
Mm.
So if we can induce or inject, you know, family frequency into our communities again,
Right.
then we can save some of these kids that really don't want to be a part of none of this shit. And I say shit respectfully,
Right.
you know, because I do have family in that culture, and they take it a little serious on a more revolutionary standpoint than most.
You
But
know, I don't mean to cut your wisdom.
I'll say this and let you go.
Where that come from? That's me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's you.
crazy. You know, I'll say this, like, if we can if we can just inject more family and more community into the communities, that's a lot of shit would change. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
we don't have no, like, the big brothers is the big homie. You know what I'm saying? That's the big blood. That's the big, you know. So
I'm glad you said that. I don't mean to cut your wisdom because
nah, you
I have
good,
I
you
have
good.
I have three daughters, and you know they attract boys or whatever, but they got a lot of friends. I always make sure to grab one of them little knuckleheads and put them under my wing and have a
Right,
one-on-one talk to them. What you doing? What's going on with you? Your grades good? Here's a
right.
book. Don't worry about it. Take this book with you and tell me about it next time you come to my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know
I
what I
think that's
think. You know what I
important.
think changed though. Like this generation of music. Not that it's terrible. Like I don't want to be overly
Yeah.
critical because we grew up in a generation where music had similar things. But I think that there was
Right.
much more of a variety. Like you could go from, you know, an NWA to a De La Soul, and there was a time when we actually embraced and really loved knowledge in our raps, like you said, like Poor Righteous Teachers. You know, there was
Yeah.
De La Soul that came with something completely different. There was X Clan, Public Enemy, you name it, and we
KRS
embraced it,
One
and
raised me.
we felt proud and happy to be black and appreciate and enjoy the music. But now it's
Right.
like everything that was being promoted has nothing to do with that, and it's just, to me, it's just been like a shift in terms of what the, you know, what the paradigm is of what people deem to be acceptable in music. Now it's like, you know, like you think about like even Jay, when Nas first started doing these raps, your shit is garbage, what you trying to kick knowledge. But then you listen
Mm-hmm.
to Jay-Z on the 444 album, and that whole album is him kicking knowledge, like financial literacy. So you know, you see some type of growth and development from him.
Right,
And I think that we still have artists around that's dropping those
Right.
jewels. Us
Yeah.
as like the elders now, we have to be in a position where we promote those artists and we
right,
play those artists for the young ones underneath for us, so that way they could get those gems in their ear. Like when I'm in the car with my son, you know, he's putting me on the music, I'm putting him on the music. Some of the stuff he listened to, he like, I can't, I ain't feeling it. Some of the stuff he listened to, like, nah, this is dope, I like it or whatever. But I'm exposing him to it and giving him an opportunity to hear it and showing him, like, you know, music is more than just about pill popping and jewelry and stuff like that. You know, I was the other day, I think I seen like an article or something where Method Man was talking about something that was very interesting to me. Method Man was like, he doesn't understand how all of these rappers now are so rich, like these young and upcoming rappers. And he wasn't saying it from the perspective of a hater. He was just really talking about the continuum of how the monetization of music, how far it's gone. Like Method Man was a A-list artist, and he was talking about, I remember getting like $10,000 a show on a good day. He was like, I
Even less than
wasn't
that.
flying private or whatever. He was like, now you see on the gram, all these people are flying private. And he was like, how, you know, he's like, yo, how is it that they can afford to do this at $35,000 a flight or whatever it is when the music is not the quality of music that we've grown accustomed to. So I don't know. I think it's just been a shift in general. I would ask you, though, just based on your experience in the music industry, like, what is it that you learned from your Def Jam experience that you took with you and made you build and say, like, all right, I seen something at the age of 17, I seen something that now make me want to move a little bit different or take a different approach to the industry? Or were you not in a position at that young of an age to actually take the lesson away from it?
I mean, hold on. I gotta come in and come back out. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to the
Trigger
guy, man.
will come in too.
Trey coming through? That'd be dope.
Trig, what's good? What's
Peace,
good,
What's
bro?
good?
How you doing?
What's good, good brother?
I'm doing good. Peace, Christ. Peace, God.
Yeah,
Peace, man. Good to see you. Look good, God. You look good, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yo, we Christ had to leave out, but he gonna come back in. But we gonna need a whole episode to build with you to talk
Yes,
about
sir.
that broken language.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. I'm just co-signing what DV saying, you know. Definitely on a lot of levels, you know. So
Yeah.
we understand the game a little differently now. You
That's
know.
right.
I know y'all was speaking on how these guys are making so much money. Really, there's no middleman no more.
That's a fact.
You cut
That's a
the
fact.
third and fourth party out. Everything is going directly to the artist. So this is the reason why the artist is succeeding more now and gaining revenue. And the splits are different.
Yeah.
You were signed to the major, it was like 10 cents on a dollar, 20 cents on a dollar. It depends on how you negotiated your contract.
Yeah.
It's straight splits. You know, they doing 50-50, half and half, or sometimes some of these artists get $9 on every sale.
Damn,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
on every sale. So it depends on negotiating your contract, and these 360 deals are a little different. Because back then you wasn't dealing with artist merchandising. You know, you didn't have to give up that. You didn't have to give up a percentage of your show money. Things
Right.
you know, nowadays these artists are signed, they tied all the way in. You know,
Okay.
all in situation. So it's a little different. So these companies, think about it. If you got somebody that you can make money off of for the rest of your life, all they have to do is entertain you as a business and a company is going to do nothing but put money behind them and keep pushing them because you're
Right.
the money anyway, and you can give them a percentage that they require. But at the same time, if they don't know how to negotiate those percentages, this is the reason why the companies are making triple more than the artist is making, you know?
Yeah.
And this.
It's funny because, you know, like record labels they've scaled back. Like, you know, you don't hear much about A&Rs and all these other people and these big promotional budgets anymore. But what they have done is that I think they've realized that a lot of times they weren't promoting artists the way that artists need to be promoted. So artists were failing to meet like the sales expectations. And the artists were put in positions where they were recouping forever. But they knew artists, like you said, was going on the road, getting their show money, you know, making money off of merch or doing whatever it was. So they figured out a way. This is the other way that I'm gonna tap into getting a couple of dollars from the artist. And yo, it's unfortunate.
Labels was losing too, because you got to think about it. They was giving production budgets as well as artist budgets. You know, and then you might get your upfront money and things like that you might get from the record label. But it depends on the production company you was under or who was handling your budget at that time. This is why A&Rs played a big part, because they was kind of like the middleman between the record label and the artist.
Right.
But then what happened is this. The artist is being an artist, but the A&Rs and everybody else, they want you to succeed too. It's not like they just ripping you off, but what they're doing is they're spending more than what you might spend on maybe a studio session or a certain studio or a certain producer you might work with.
Off the top.
Exactly. You know, so a lot of times you can present albums and have everything done, and a record label will still say, well, you know, we want you to work with this producer or this producer. So they lock you into more money and more money. And a lot of times, once the record sales start happening, the artist is locked into a certain amount of money. So the record label have to make that money back first before the artist see anything.
Right. You got that crazy overhead, and you got to work your way back.
Yo,
Right.
It's crazy. What's your opinion on streaming?
I like streaming, to be honest with you. Right. I think you can make a lot of money from streaming if you do the right thing with it, you know?
Okay.
And tie into the right company that will allow you to make a certain percentage off of your streams.
Yeah.
That's right.
Streaming also, it still goes back to just like a record company saying, well, you get a certain percentage off the record sale.
Right.
Same thing off streaming. You know, they give you a certain percentage off the streaming. So it's the way you negotiate your contracts. You know, when me, Khryst, and Smooth was on Profile and Def Jam, you know, I was able to leave Def Jam with me and Khryst masters. You know, a lot of guys, artists can't ever say that.
They ain't never seen their masters.
My masters back from Tommy Boy and Def Jam.
Yo, how about that? Yo, I'm trying to figure out, for the life of me, how is it that Def Jam never formally dropped your album? Like, why?
Well,
the buzz y'all had was crazy.
Yeah, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't know. To be real honest with you, I pulled my album from Def Jam.
Oh, okay.
See, what people didn't realize was that the first time that they had held the project back, it wasn't for no other reason but marketing and promotion and things that they wanted to handle at the record label. So the second time when they pushed the date back, it was more because they didn't know what single to put out. They didn't know exactly what single to put out.
After My Crew Can't Go For That?
Right, exactly. Because even before, right after My Crew Can't Go For That, before Bust, Russell was really pushing for Hitman for Hire to be the next single, and Def Jam wanted something different, you know. So at that time, we were still going through a process of Khryst with his contract. He was getting ready to start recording his album, and there was things going on with the label other than Def Jam. You know, I was under No Doubt Entertainment at the time, you know, and I was finding out things that, you know, dude was doing that was like really under the table. I kind of stopped it as soon as I found out about it. I held the project back. I understood what it was between our splits and who would make money and who wouldn't. And everybody, you know how you have a lot of people looking at you like, yo, why you do that? A lot of people could have ate. We would all ate off this. But people got to realize, you know, it's my life, you know.
That's right.
I'm content with not dropping that album on Def Jam or anything like that. You know, I was cool with that.
Yeah. You know what's bug about that though? Like, it made me think about with the joint with Master P said when he had went and I think he said he went to Profile first or something, and they offered him 10 million or whatever it is, and he was on the plane coming back and was like, yo, if they're gonna give me 10 million, what is it really worth? And that's what you saying makes me think that.
To be honest with you, like, even when they didn't release my project that month, they revamped me again with another like 1.5. So I was basically at Def Jam with $3 million and no album dropping. But I was still touring because I was touring with my brother. You know, record out Broken Language that wasn't on Def Jam. So we were still touring all over the world. Then we teamed up with Ice-T, and then we started touring everywhere around the world, all three of us together under our own record label called Corner Records, which we was putting out music in the UK. So we was touring out there on a regular, and we was still putting out independent singles under SMG. So then we wound up putting out a whole album, an SMG album, that we put out in the UK. We went to the UK and we toured out there. We made a hell of a grip of money. That's never. So what we did, me and Smooth just kept pushing our stuff out, you know, all around the world, because we knew what United States was doing. We know what was going on in the industry. We had got the message that the game was changing, it was switching over, and we knew exactly how they were switching it over. So we said, instead of throwing albums out, putting it in that system again, we ain't gonna throw no albums out right now. So that's what we did. We just laid back on it, but we constantly kept creating music, creating albums. So that's what we did.
Yo, who was responsible for No Doubt though? Was that Dante Ross?
That was Dante Ross.
Yeah.
Me and Khryst was on there both, but when I saw the little slick things that was going on under the table, I kind of pulled mine and kind of stopped Khryst at the same time. But Khryst still had the opportunity to release his album or, you know, do what he wanted to do. But Khryst a team player, you know. So he
Yes,
was like,
sir.
working with you, it's not working with me, because we had a copycat deal at Def Jam. When I got signed, we got signed Khryst. We got Khryst signed right after without even a record out.
How about that? How about that? That's how you do it too, man.
He was
How you do it?
album, but he didn't have individual record out, like, you know, popping anything. So I was like, look, if you're gonna take me, you got, you know, got to take my partner. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, you know. And at the end of the day, we knew what it was when we was pulling away from Def Jam. You know,
Talk about that tour you did with Ice-T. How was that experience?
oh man, to be honest with you, that's like an older bro to me. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the OG, yeah.
yeah, he like I've been with Ice like 25 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like touring around the world with him. He's a laid back dude. He's about his paper.
About his paper, he's a strong dude, yeah.
He's gonna school you every minute that you be around him. You know what I'm saying? School you about the game. He's gonna school you about the Hollywood. He's gonna school you about everything, basically. And you know, and also as being a father. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm a father myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it's about our children first, and then
That's right.
family second, and everything else. You know.
Yo,
And that's what we just talked about. That we just talked about having that mentorship, or just having an outlet for these younger guys, or just taking a younger guy up under your wing and give him some jewels. Let him know, yo, it's a different way you could do things. More than one way to skin a cat.
Oh,
you don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's dope.
Yeah.
Like Khryst had mentioned about SMG. When we started SMG, we started out with Sex, Money, and Guns. It was for the music. And like Khryst said, he switched up the name SMG. But for years, we've been using SMG name as we have right now. Me and Smooth own an armed security company in Richmond.
Dope.
How about that?
Yeah.
See that? More than one, like I said, more than one way to skin a cat.
It's all about it's. And to be honest with you, I like under us we have private investigators, we got Bell agents, we do personal and executive protection. You know, and we got a team. And I mean, we work hard. You know, and
That's right.
we just, you know, I employ about 35 people right now.
Nice.
You know, so, and that's just it. And like I tell brothers, it didn't have nothing to do with rap music.
That's right.
You got to step away from things sometimes and just reinvent yourself and do something different.
Yeah.
You know, I had this question for Khryst, but I'm gonna ask you:
Sure.
How important is imagination?
Oh man, it's very important, man. I mean, to be honest with you, even as kids, man, me, Smooth, and Khryst, like we used to just sit around and just imagine everything. I mean, you have to speak it into existence, to be honest.
Right.
It's like
That's
you're
right.
powerful, so you plant the seed on what you speak on. You know, when you speak certain things, you plant that seed, and as long as you keep striving towards it, you can be successful in it. You know, because there's nothing can hold you back from becoming or doing anything you want to do. And I tell my friends and my homeboys that all the time. Anytime I mention something and say, look, yo, we're going to open up this, or we're going to go do this. And they look at me and go, man, that's going to take a minute. I go, no, it don't. No, it's not. Because people look at money. Money is just a tool.
That's a fact.
It's just a tool of life. It's just for you to, you know, feel a little more comfortable, pay some bills, take care of things you want to do, and that's it. But when you put your whole life around it, you know, and you focus on, oh, I gotta make this dollar, you'll never make it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
That's a fact.
You know,
that's a fact.
why the greed in people comes, you know, because they so striving on making that dollar, and then when they see somebody next to them that's not working hard but they working smart to make that dollar, they want to take it from them, you know. So that's what that is.
Yo, I wanna know what that session was like for Broken Language.
Oh wow.
Yo, I want to know how Broken Language came together. And yo, did you know? I read somewhere that Heather Headley for basically used that flow for He Is, which He Is to me is a dope song. But she gave y'all credit and was like, yo, I got this from Smooth and Trigger.
Definitely. I remember when they had sent me the song from her, you know. And when we was in the studio, to be honest with you, DR had gave me that beat, and he was like, yo, if you want to make it on Smooth album, you know, you're gonna have to hurry up and get something to me. And so Smooth album was basically like almost finished. Like he think he had about 2 or 3 songs left or something. And me and Khryst was supposed to be on Broken Language. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, Khryst was basically getting ready to start writing it, and Khryst had to leave. It was an emergency, he had to leave out on. And I started writing it inside my home, and then my brother walked in and I was like, yo, check this out real quick. And I started writing, kicking some of it to him, and he was like, what? He's like, hold on, I'll be back. And he went in the other so I didn't see him for like 2 hours. And then he came out the room like, yo, listen to this. And he kicked basically a whole like 32 bars or something like that to that. And I kicked him like 32 bars. And it was kind of like coincide right with each other.
Yeah.
So like we wasn't even sitting there with each other. It was kind of like that brother love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's right. That's the connection.
Yeah,
Classic.
we always had this competition thing. Smooth was always writing as a rapper. He always was doing. I was more as a freestyle battle rapper. You know, I was more just hanging around him when he rap against people and stuff, and I was picking up flows and lines and things like that. Then I used to go to him with when I would freestyle. I would do a whole bunch of different flows, and Smooth be like, "Yo, you gotta start writing, man. Like, what you doing?" And so that's why DR started pushing me like, yo, in order for you to get on this album, you got to write something. You got to give me something.
Yeah.
And I took him Broken Language, and it was crazy that the beat wasn't even the way it was. It's just like, boom, 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 boom. That was it. Boom, boom, boom. It ain't switch ups, no changes, no drops, no nothing in the beat when I was writing it. So I was like, wow. But then when I took it to DR and he kind of did his touch to it.
He cleaned it up, right? Yeah.
When it was done and you heard it, did you know? Was y'all like, yo, we got one?
Nah, to be honest with you, because it was more, like I told you, it was more that I freestyled like that. I used to battle people like that. That was be like my last style I would battle somebody with. And then in the battle with that, and they wouldn't want to round no more. So, and me and Smooth used to do it just bugging out in the hallway with me and him. We used to just, say who we are and things like that. And then when I put it there and we listened to it, we was like, all right, it's going to be dope. But we never still looked at it like it's going to be a hit or it's going to be something that really, like take over the underground. And then a lot of people call it underground, but we went mainstream with it. We was around the world.
Yes, sir.
Yo, that song has stood the test of
that
time.
Shit took off.
You can't be a hip hop head and not know Broken Language.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that New York, we ain't never gave out awards at BT, none of that stuff here and anything. But when we in UK and all that, they was honored to have us at their award shows and things like that. It's kind of the movement is different,
Yeah, that global audience is different. They love all the classic. They love some of the new shit, but
they love hip-hop.
They love hip, right?
Oh,
period.
Dude, they love, man. Listen. The new stuff is good. They're gonna attach to that because it's the new wave. But you throw some old school hip hop to them, they'll shut everything else down. That's everything.
Everything, son.
How it moves out there.
Yeah, they love hip hop. Like that's why dudes could go overseas and get like that love because overseas is where it's where it's at. The graffiti, they still breaking, they DJing, like all of the elements.
You still feel the culture out there. You feel it. You go around guys, backpackers. They still packing the backpack. They, like you said, they break dancing. They still into part of graffiti. They pop a lot. There's a lot that's going on out there. And then also, like it was crazy to me because one time me and the team. We was in Brazil and we had just left. We had just left Scotland or London, and we on a stage and we performing and we looked in the stage and it was a young kid in the stage. In the audience had to be about 12 years old. He had left London and followed us to Brazil.
Word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hip-hop, and this was like 97, 98. So when I seen that, I kind of knew right then and there. I said, wait a minute. This is something
different. This is different.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you what's beautiful about that though. Like just listening to you talk about that. Like I grew up in the South Bronx. Like we dudes from the hood, and hip hop has been able to take people around the world, make millionaires, change lives, help you create businesses after hip hop. Like you just think about like the culture that people thought would no longer exist.
Right.
after a certain period of time, how people have parlayed that into so many different opportunities.
Right. I mean, when I was going back out in 96, 97, around that time, I was performing in front of like the Eiffel Tower with like 3 million people.
Look at that.
You know? Yeah, and it was just like it was shocking to me to just see that. That was my first time really experiencing that type of crowd.
I was in front of the Eiffel Tower. I need a picture. That right there, I can see an image of that shit.
That's
like,
dope.
you kidding me?
Yeah, I was working with a guy named Jean-Michel Jarre. I think on one of Jay-Z albums, he had mentioned him. And I think it's set last 2 albums ago. He kind of mentioned then that was his first time kind of like meeting him and being with him. But like I was saying, like the elite was involved since then. They hands thing. You see what I'm saying? And this is like royal family. This is what's been going on out there forever. And it's so big out there. You know, like I got a lot of good friends from out there that talk to me and let me know even what's going on in our country, what's happening here before it happened. You know, they get the message, they get the MO. That's the family.
That's it. That's how you stay connected, man.
Exactly. But these guys, I mean, I just hope these artists, was really tripping me out is how these young artists are getting killed. That's something.
Let's talk about that for a second. And that's the reason why I asked Khryst, you know, the importance of the power of word versus image.
Right.
You know, is it what they're hearing in the music that's driving them, or is it what they're seeing that's driving them? Like when we grew up, it was Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS-One, Public Enemy. There was enough artists that when we heard it, it was like, yo, stand up straight. Get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? But now you hear it, and it's like, I'm going to bop you in your fucking head when I see you.
It's crazy you said that. Look, it's real weird how, think about it, back then we had fans, right? And these young fans they wanted to learn about the streets, right? Okay.
Correct.
Us as artists, we was going through the struggle. That was the crack era.
He was already in the street.
Right. That was the crack era. It was heavy.
That's right.
So we kind of, if you hear the music from the 90s, it kind of broke down the struggle of the music. You know, things that happened and stuff like that.
From the 80s, right. I got you.
And you wanted to change up some things in your music to where you kind of giving a cause and effect. That's more what was in music at that time. You know, now it's more like the artists around me more of being the actual like the buyer. You know what I'm saying? So before we had drug dealers and we had crackheads. Now kids they rhyming about taking drugs. Different. Their mentality is even different on how they're not speaking on a struggle. They're speaking on a trap. The trap struggle is the same thing we spoke on, trying to explain to people to come out of.
To come out of, right. Not to celebrate it.
Not to celebrate it. It might look like it was being celebrated because of whatever.
Right.
But it wasn't. If you listen to the message behind it, it was deeper. Nowadays, guys is telling you to take the ecstasy, telling you to pop the pills, telling you to do that. So the mentality with the fans, as far as the kids, they looking at what they see.
That's right. That's the image. That's the image they see. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even though they can be getting taught the right things at home, when they get in the streets, you know, it's kind of like they have to put on this facade for people that they're around. And
that's right.
Sometimes
the influence.
They don't want to be that, but they have to be that to feel like they down or to make somebody recognize them in a certain way. And they just need to understand that to be cool is to be you.
That's right. That's right.
That's the you know what? That's where the promotional money goes. That's what they promote, and that's what plays on the radio, and that's why I think that's so embraced by the youth and the culture. Right. You know, like part of I think the responsibility though that we have to take, like I was saying to Khryst, is like the elders, is that we have to support those projects where it is people on there dropping jewels or the artists and stuff like that. Because if we don't support it, if we're critical of the youth, but then we don't support when dudes like Harris put out a new project we're doing a disservice. We're basically reinforcing to the kids that, yo, we don't want nobody want to hear from this dude anymore. Like back in December, I went to a concert. It was Slick Rick, Rakim, Terrace Martin, Big Daddy Kane, Jazzy Jeff was. It was like, yo, it was a concert, EPMD, that made me flash back to a time. I'm like, damn, like, yo, hip hop was great. Whatever, like what happened to hip hop, man?
Yeah, it's like every 10 years somebody come in and change the narrative of
yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, to me, me and my moms be talking, and I was telling my moms, I said, remember when we was buying DVD, not DVDs, the tapes,
VHS?
The VHS tapes, and they had this thing called Faces of Death.
Oh,
get that tape, like anything dealing with death or anything.
I remember those, yo.
I told my mom's one time when all them things, when that was going on, I said, Mom, it's gonna be a time where killing is gonna be broadcast in a certain way. And I was telling her about reality TV way before it had hit. Then when reality hit, she was like, man, you was always talking about this reality TV. And then when she saw on YouTube an actual killing, she brought up that conversation that I had with her when I said, people
are going to be doing this.
People like to see what they either want to do but won't do, okay? And you got to look at it. The world is funny because you can tell by that from movies. All you have to do is watch the movies that come out. And when you watch that come out, see what the most exciting movie, everybody runs to the movie to see. And it's the action movie. It's the movie of somebody action or the drug dealer that's getting big and success. So the average kid or young person that's sitting around, that's like, they're trying to dream that life out, that fantasy life. They get caught up in that. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what, to me, I look at it a lot of times. I'll be like, I just want to see, to be honest with you, I want to see the young artists come together, no matter if they blood, Crip, whatever. Find a solution on how they can move in the industry and in the streets without each other getting killed over some nonsense that's not going to get nobody nowhere, man. It's not going to, listen, I think a lot of these brothers think getting in trouble is going to help their career. I remember back in the days, artists used to do that as a gimmick. We'll call the police on themselves for something real small just to get loose. Yeah. That was things people used to do back in the days. I mean,
that's the wrong gimmick right there.
But you know what? If you look at
right, but I get your point though.
You got a lot of them that do it. They just look at them on social media. They put it, Now I tell people, by me owning an armed security company, I tell people, man, social media right now is the biggest FBI database.
Yeah, people getting themselves indicted.
Yo, listen, man, putting them guns up online, kids is every video they showing a gun, they doing this, they doing that. They, it's putting them in a situation, they marking them.
Right. And they fail to realize that these phones are being linked to towers that have links and they know your location. The next thing you know, niggas is knocking at your door. You flashing guns, huh? You flashing guns? Come outside.
Right. Why Jay-Z and Meek Mills is fighting for them not to be able to use
use your lyrics against you, yeah.
They back down to that. And then you got these, everybody, to me, I think they got trapped in this world of likes and dislikes. Right?
It's validation.
Right, exactly. And I feel like if people validate themselves and stop worrying about everybody else validating them, they will move a little different, And I think people, when you look for validation from people, it's some things you might overstep and you might do that you won't normally do.
Yeah. And you set yourself up for disappointment.
Exactly.
You set yourself up for disappointment. Like, to go back to what you were saying about the Jay-Z and Meek Mill stuff, what's crazy about that to me is, like, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these action flick dudes or whatever, all this stuff.
Rambo,
Arnold Schwarzenegger commit a crime, yo, they going in court play like, yo, we remember when you was the Terminator and you had all them guns.
Right. You see, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that to Al Pacino and them, the ones that played, Scarface and guys that played for Nino Brown and all that, you know, those things like that was errors. Like to me, Scarface, that was kind of like the coke era for, you know,
Yeah.
the guys that was getting the money, the rich people or the people that was wealthy,
Yeah.
you know.
You know what the delineation with that is though? Those people aren't attempting to portray themselves outside of the film as that. And then when you get some of these dudes that they rapping about it, but then like you said, get on social media, they got the guns out and all that. That's why they're trying to link it and tie it in together and say like, nah, it's not only on the record. This is what you actually living or whatever. Like, damn, that'd be horrible. You got to be a fool to get indicted based on lyrics that you wrote.
Right. Think about the artist that really never speak, but is really a genius in writing. And he paint pictures. I say, like, I always tell Smooth, I say, yo, when we write, we paint pictures for the blind. People that can't actually see what's going on.
Yo, and I don't mean to cut your wisdom, Lord, but that's why I asked the question about imagination. I just believe we're using imagination wrong because we're all doing it. 95 to 99% of the day, you're having a conversation with yourself. So that conversation that you're having with yourself, you're putting an image with the words you're using, the whole 9 yards. And out of that, you're going to manifest what it is that you feel earnestly about how you feel about yourself. Most people have low self-esteem, but then when they go out, they get defensive, and before you know it, now they're in a fight. Now there's a war going on because your self-esteem is low, and you don't know how to deal with that. But that's why I always ask that question about imagination, because it's a tool. It's a tool just like money.
Right.
Use it to create, like you said, dream the biggest dream you want.
Right.
And focus on that dream and stick to it, and I guarantee you it'll manifest.
Yeah, yes, it will. Yes, it will. I'm kind of like a real prime example of that, especially in my family. They know, you know, if I speak on something and I go forward towards it and it manifests, you know, because I'm so long probably or just constantly talking about it. I'm just one of them types that's going to make it happen. I have to, you know.
Right. That's right.
You know, and that's why I do what I do, straight up.
That's good. You need action. Some people get stuck in that procrastination stage where it's so a lot of times, to me, a lot of stuff is just about doing something. It's about doing something. And sometimes people get so caught up in the thought process, the planning of stuff, that they never actually move into the action step. Like even for us, when we put this podcast together, when the pandemic first started, you know, it wasn't about like, all right, we're gonna have all this equipment, we're gonna do all this stuff and everything, you know, we're gonna write out this huge production plan. It was like, let's start talking to people, let's start having conversation, you know. And whereas there are some people who would have probably sat for 6 months, and no knock on them, and developed everything out and all that. For us, it was like, nah, let's do something and let's develop it over time. And I really believe that, you know, action to me is a far more value than spending a substantial amount of time in planning. Now, I'm not trying to devalue planning, because I do think there's value in planning, but I think if you only get stuck in a planning stage, it becomes problematic. And I think honestly, like, you know, like not to talk, like drag politics into it, but I think a lot of what we have going on in our country now is a result of that. Like, it's a whole bunch of ideas and think tanks and all that, but there's never any implementation.
No action.
Of the ideas or whatever. So it's like, you got these great ideas, but you haven't implemented them. They mean nothing.
Right, that's true. And there's no respect. That's another thing.
Yes, sir.
There's no respect.
Lack of respect.
Lack of respect. It starts there first, because when you respect each other, you think different of each other. You know, so kind of think more in a positive manner than thinking in a negative way. You know,
that's right.
And kind of when you're thinking positive and you both on the right path, you can succeed to something.
Right.
Let me get your opinion, because I know you're removed. You're not in BK anymore. I don't know how much you follow the news in New York. Like, I don't live in New York anymore either, but I still follow a lot of the news in New York. And I don't know if you noticed, like, the uptick in the violence that's coming out of New York now. You know, and we product of New York in the 80s and 90s, and it didn't seem like to me in the 80s and 90s there was as much violence as you see now. What are your thoughts around that?
I mean, it's crazy, to be honest with you. You know, I think that when they're talking about their streets, then They need more police in their streets, and they need to be held more accountable for kids that's getting killed in their streets. You know, when something happened, they say the police, they go, okay, the police gonna find the killer. Okay, what about when we in your streets getting a ticket for driving? We in your streets for getting a ticket for jaywalking. We in your streets for getting a ticket for whatever. You call it your streets. But when someone child get killed in your streets,
you ain't nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
That's a good point.
So it starts from there. And then also with the young men out there, I mean, think about it. There's nothing that they have like we used to have that can take them away from the social media. We used to have boys and girls clubs and different things like that, after school centers and basketball centers. They took all that away. And by them taking all that away, they knew it was going to be nothing there left for them.
Right.
We need our Black leaders in our communities to step forward and start putting more programs in these communities to get the kids from having so much free time of doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these kids can't start working until they're a certain age. You know, so in between that time alone, they got a lot of time right there to be either building up their craft or they're going to be doing something negative, you know, out in the street, doing something that they have no knowledge about really in all reality, because they have no more role models. There's no more OG role models in the hood really taking these guys around after they saw that we lost the brotherhoods and the boys and girls clubs. After we lost that, it's not a lot of men that stepped up and said, you know what, we're going to take some of these little bars we got or little barber shops that we own and let's you know, whatever and bring some of these kids in here on the weekend and let's do something different, you know, with them to take their mind off the guns. Like I'm living down in Virginia, right? And the difference of me coming from New York to Virginia with my kids, they're not curious of the gun. And New York having it illegal, kids never get the opportunity to even understand or learn about them.
Yeah.
So what happens is when they see it or hear it, the curiosity kicks in.
That's right.
Up, they want to touch it. They know they're hiding it. They know it's illegal, but the rush of having it, knowing that, you know, this is something that can protect me or take from somebody to do whatever, if they don't have the right mentality to have that in their hand, it's going to be used wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's right.
Virginia, you're openly open to carry and you can have concealed carry, but it's easy for you to take classes and learn about how to use the weapon, how to break it down, what it's really for. You know, because it's not the gun, it's the actual person. You know, the gun is there forever and never kill nobody, never hurt nobody. But it's the hands that it get into, the mental stage of the person who hands is in.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I don't know how this discussion came up. And he was talking about like, actually it came up because we were talking about like the violence and stuff. And he was talking about community, and he's, you know, he's around my age, and he was like, yo, I don't really remember growing up in a sense of community, you know, and he grew up in the Bronx too. And I told him, I remember growing up where there was community, where it was the OGs, and there were parents respected in the community also that, you know, were invested in the youth in the community. But I told him, I was like, to me, crack really helped to deteriorate community.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people that were pillars in the community fell victim to crack. And as a result of it, you know, it kind of set the community back some. So now we're in a position where you look at some of these communities, and like you said, like, you know, I live up in Connecticut, and I was fortunate enough with my children to give them an opportunity where they didn't have the experiences that I had, you know, and and I say to myself, I'm like, damn, like if my children grew up and they had to endure some of the stuff that's going on now down in the city or whatever, like, yo, there'd be mad sleepless nights. Like everywhere you go, an 11-month-old baby got shot the other day in the Bronx. Like
that's serious. That's serious, man.
Stop for 1 second and really take that in. 7 months.
Yeah. Yo.
Months, man.
They got that going on. They have people.
That just shows you the irresponsibility. That shows you the irresponsibility of today's climate when that can happen. Where even whether it was an accident, whether it was on purpose or someone going crazy, that an 11-month-old would be fatally killed by a pistol. Like, that's crazy.
I think the baby's in critical condition. You know what broke my heart? Another story that I was following. Did you see the young brother from Brooklyn? I think he was like 14 or 15 years old, good basketball player. And they said that over, I think, like from the summer to now, that he was responsible for 4 murders. And they got him on like video and all this, and they picked him up. This dude is like 14 years old or something like that. Like, yo, like, to me, it's mind blowing. Like, damn, what you got going on?
But you know, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest for a second. Things like that were happening, but because the way the news was covered and carried, you didn't hear a lot about those things. There were a lot of young knuckleheads growing up in the 70s and the 80s going on, but it wasn't as pervasive as it is now. Now you got so many copycats, and that's why I talk about the influence of the music, like Trig said, the influence of the movies, all these things people want to carry out because they're curious.
Right.
Like, and then what we had that alienated the curiosity was playing baseball, was the community center, was going to the library, maybe having a summer job. There was just so many different things that allowed you to be like, should I? Nah, fuck that. I'm going that way. You know what I mean? I'm being honest, man, because I remember a lot of times I thought about doing some shit, and I had an OG pull me like, nah, nigga, go to the park.
Right. That's right.
You don't belong there. You ain't even built for that.
And you know what? Even the ones that, even in the crack era, the ones that did get on drugs, the OGs that was still around the way, they still played a part with the young generation if they respect to them OGs, or they looked at them because they was getting high, they took the respect away, and
That's right.
Listen, my community growing up in Brooklyn and Brownsville, Saratoga area, we had a lot of my friends' parents and stuff fell victim.
Christ, you on the go, huh, son? You on the go, God.
That shit was giving me a hard time to come back in.
Yeah,
I was just sitting watching the whole fucking time, like. I'm like, you niggas got a 2-for-1.
Yeah, for real, son.
Yo, Trig, finish what you were saying though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to plug this in.
Y'all pull a wrestling move. Christ said, "Yo, I'm a tag Trigger in, tag him in, son, on some wrestling shit."
So with me and Christ up that and all that, we was giving respect regardless of how, if they was on drugs, you know, somebody's parent might be, you know, strung out, anything. We will more talk to them to uplift them and be like, yo, you know, we don't respect this. You know, we hang with your son, or we hang with your daughter, or that. You know, we was in the game heavy when we was young. You know, 13, 14.
That's right.
You know, we had a lot of money. We didn't care about money. We didn't know what money really was about. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even know what to use it for. We just had it. You know, we was just doing things we needed to do for our community and our team. But we always been them young dudes that always wanted to see everybody on the right path. Our homeboys, our, you know, their mothers, their fathers, whatever. And a lot of our friends' parents, when they was in them drug eras, they hung around on the Avs and stuff, and we would see them on a regular basis, but we knew how to still respect them.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
And still give them that respect, that ma'am, that sir, how you doing? We always made they wasn't lesser than who they was because they was in a situation, or they was, you know, because once you get onto that drug, that crack, it's no more control. You have no more control over that.
Yeah.
And we understood that at a young age, so we knew it was a sickness more than anything.
Yeah, morals definitely went out the window. Morals and integrity.
When we left in our community, you know, we would have the adults and the elders that would call us and be like, yo, y'all need to move back around here. Because regardless of what, with music or music, we kept structure. You know, we kept a certain structure between our friends and our homeboys. Like when we was on Saratoga, we would have community, you know, homeboys coming from every direction to come to our building and hang out because we was doing positive shit also.
Right.
That's out in the streets wilding out. We had a lot of positive things going on around us, and a lot of guys that wanted to attach to that they came around and they hung around. You know, me and Khryst started dance groups back in the days when Smooth was doing his rap stuff. And then we got in with Smooth and pulled the team more stronger and built up everybody. You know, all our team between all our homeboys is doing something good. We all our homeboys that's with us is friends that grew up from loving that in 1 and 2, meaning that's before kindergarten.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, it's crazy you mentioned that. I was just reading Raekwon's book, and he said the same thing, man. Like you grew up being a dancer before you got into hip hop. Like you went to parties to dance.
That's right. Everybody.
You know what I'm saying? And dancing was a part of it. Like you had your hip hop, and by the end of the party, it was the slow jams, and you found your shorty, and that was it. You found a corner, you're doing your thing.
That's right.
You missed that part, son.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all get a chance, pick up that. I read that book. That's a phenomenal book, man.
Yeah, I'm reading it now, man. It's dope. Shout out to Ray.
Phenomenal book. Like Ray really captured the essence of growing up in Staten Island, and to the relationship amongst all the Wu members, to his street exploits, to his family. Like whoever helped him write that did a hell of a job.
Right. And
you know what?
To be honest, so many guys in the game that's like at the top of their game right now that was dancers. They were straight dancers.
Straight dancers, yo.
Right. So mostly all of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we was #1 in dancing around the world. What we was doing. You know?
That's a fact. That's a fact. I was a big dancer too, so I love going to parties. Actually, I played ball, right? But I never went to practice because if I went to a party the night before, yo, when you dance for like 4 hours, fuck practice. That's calisthenics right there, son. You dancing, doing the running man for 4 hours? Fuck out of here.
Look, people ain't know when you was a dancer there, man. You used to come home with water in your knees, bro. People don't know about it. Although was the only ones that had water in their knees. So all the dancers, all the dancers, they know. So either you had some knee pads or it was water in the knees, man. Like at some point, you know.
Yo, you know what the demise of all these good times is though? Technology. Because yo, the advent of technology, you know, like I remember when video games first came into play, my parents used to be like, you can't be on the video game all day. You got to go out and play or whatever it was. But then now the video games, the kids, you don't even got to sit next to a person. You play with somebody.
You know what's the funniest thing? Let me tell you a real funny situation. Khryst might remember this shit. Me and Smooth remember when Sega was out, right?
Yeah.
The Genesis. And me and Smooth had this game called Defender. And we
oh my God.
We used to play that shit until the damn game was hot as hell, right? So my moms and my pops used to always tell y'all cut that game off. Y'all got school tomorrow. Y'all cut it off, right? So me and Smooth would come from school and the fucking game would still be hot. Hot. Come to find out years later, my moms and my pops used to make us get off the game.
So they can play.
Right? Yo, crazy as shit, man. They would just get off the game like 2:40, 2:45. So they get in there all chilling, my pops watching TV, my mom's cooking. I'm like, hey, how was y'all day? Everything good. The first thing they would say to us, don't y'all just ass on that game. Right?
Yo, you turn on a high score, the joint say Mom the hustler and Pops the gambler.
all day. So I get tricked on my game shit with my moms. They was game fanatics just like us. So that's why I understand it. Now, trust me, I got every system. I bought my kids the system. But you know what I did learn about those games? Some kids right now, when they play them video games, they get strategic, man. And kids are very intelligent in playing those video games because it takes you to think and understand what you're doing anyway. What maybe you're going through, what you have to do to get to the next stage. And when you see these kids doing that, it shows that their brain is developing so fast, man.
Computation, how they compute, and how they put things together. That makes perfect sense. Yes, sir.
It's like it's amazing watching it. Sometimes we can say it's the gift.
Yo, the only issue I have with it is when people become addicted to it and they can't turn it off. That's
Yeah,
when it becomes an issue. But if you ask me, if I rather my son be on his Xbox instead of being in the street, that's a no-brainer.
right.
Right.
The way things going on today, we can't. There ain't no need to even check. The only thing you should do with it, though, for the parents that kids love to play, still do some activities with them. Let them do some things with their hands, because when we were young, we was learning how to fix our own bikes and how to make things into go-karts.
Yep.
and three-wheel riding bikes and all type of stuff. We used to make everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Let me tell you the funny thing. That's the only thing I say about a lot of rich kids and poor kids, okay? Rich kids can turn right around and buy it again when they break it, something happens. Poor kids, we used to have to deal with it the way we had it, or we fixed it. Without
figured it out.
of learning how to do things, activity, hands-on. It's very important to learn that, because nowadays some kids don't even know how to change a tire.
Yeah. Being poor is that ingenuity, like dude just said. But being poor breeds creativity. We used to draw the box on the wall to play baseball or stickball, or whatever it is, and
what else came and play with that? You was able to do it on your block and in front of the building and where you lived at. So it's still a comfortability there. So I think people are comfortable because they play games, they're home, they're in their home, they're comfortable, and they can interact now over the speaker with people. They can talk to one another. And I think that's kind of more easier. We don't forget, a lot of people, that's a lot of things that happen when people speak. Now they got these people on the game, they get friendly, they talking, they open people that they never met before. They building relationships and friendships with people that they would have never seen before, anything. So it can be for a plus. It can be a plus for. But then, like I said, it saved a lot of lives, man. I know a lot of homeboys that kept out of the streets. Straight up, man. Straight up. That I know for a fact would have probably been in the mix.
I have a question for
Madden.
Madden kept my ass out of trouble, I'll tell you that. I have a question for both of y'all.
Right.
Outside of music, who are some of your biggest inspirations?
DV, I'll let you go first.
My biggest inspirations, my mom's, my
Shout
dad.
out to Mom. Nice.
My dad and our dance teacher, Miss Baker, God bless her soul.
Yes, indeed.
Who else? Mr. Gustus, remember Mr. Gustus?
Oh yeah, all day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we had so many, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his Trig and Smooth mother. It was like, she was like my Aunt Val.
My grandpa.
Nana, God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother.
I'm about to say,
like it's a lot about our family. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
Very family oriented. Like, me and Khryst been together since like junior high school. You know what I'm saying? Me and Khryst been together like in the period of junior high. But we lived around the same area all our life.
Right.
But we really tied in and got connected from us being in school together. And plus we had our art.
Right.
We love.
Hey yo, Khryst. Was your pops an MC or a rapper?
Yeah, my dad used to rap and shit. He played the bass.
Yeah.
But he used to rap, like, because when I had told him that I was going to get into rap, he pulled out his books and shit and started kicking raps to me. I was like, get the fuck out of here. And this shit was hot, too. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, so, like, that started, like, me and my dad's relationship. low key, because I would come in and I would kick raps to him and he'd go crazy like, yo, that shit. You know what I mean? He's still like that to this day. Like I could call my dad right now and be like, yo, dad, check this shit I just wrote. And he'd be on the phone blacking like, oh, say that shit again, say that shit again. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nah, my dad get busy.
Now that's inspiration right there, my nigga. That's inspiration right there. For real.
Definitely. And we are like Khryst said, we always had good people around us. You know, like growing up, even when like I can remember when I wasn't writing raps and people around me used to always, because I knew everybody's song. I knew every old school song from everybody, from Kane, from Rakim, even my boy Granddaddy IU, like our homie, you know, like I knew everybody rap. So, or the older OG guys used to see me when I was come from school, from public school, and they used to keep me in front of the building and go, yo, kick this rap, or kick Rakim rap. And I would stand there and be kicking their raps and stuff, you know? Right? That, like,
nice.
And then we had, and then it's crazy. One of my biggest inspirations, man, and she rest in peace. It was this lady named Miss Peaches. She was like a grandmom to all of us. Khryst used to bang on her wall in the hallway. She lived on the first floor in our building, and me, Khryst, and Smooth used to sit in the hallway. And because it had an echo in that part of the hallway, we used to sit in there, Khryst would bang and do the beats, and me and Smooth would rap, and Khryst would rap and sing. And everybody that would walk through the hallway would go, yo, now y'all know y'all being rude. This elder lady live right here. Y'all hanging on this wall. And Miss Peaches used to open her door and be like, mind your goddamn business.
Let them boys alone.
Let them do what they doing. Leave them alone.
That's what's up.
She was in her like probably 60s, 70s. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, she allowed us to bang on that wall all the way up till we got a record deal.
Damn.
Word the mother.
Remember, oh, wow.
Yeah,
that touched me right there, son. That touched me.
It touched me anytime I talk about it, but
that touched me right there.
When I say she used to, it could be freezing cold, snow, it could be 100 degrees hot. She would open that door up and listen to us rap and Khryst do them beats on that wall. Damn. He would always, we would finish, and we would start off in the morning, finish 11, 12 at night. You know, he would still open, like, y'all can go ahead. And we loved her, man. And she was the one we
never fucked with her.
Now,
yo, like, did y'all record My Crew Can't Go For That for the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack, or was this originally recorded for your album?
Not for the Nutty Professor soundtrack.
Nutty Professor soundtrack.
Yeah, Khryst, man, that's my genius right there. Like, at the end of the day, you know, we can hear anything and kind of get a vibe of the vision of it. But that was one of my singles, and you know, me and Khryst was one of my partners. Always was with me in the studio, always around in the studio. You know, making sure my work get done. You know, because I was a dude. I was running the streets a lot, but still getting my work done. But you know, when you got my boy on the side of me, like, yo, get in the studio, get it, it's done. You know?
That's right. Sometimes you need that, man.
Y'all hit us with that record, and at first when I heard it, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think we're gonna do that, because we had some other big records to do, you know, for it. But Khryst instantly just said, nah, we doing such and such, that. No, he just went into My Crew Can't Go For That. No, he just did his thing with it right on the spot. Like, we didn't even have chance. I didn't even have chance to even vibe with the record.
But I'm trying to think back to when I was 17, if I really appreciated Hall and Oates, though.
Right.
I did not. Yo, son, hot tracks. Yo, there was so much
hot tracks.
Right.
But there, at that time in the 80s, there was so much a mixture of music, and a lot of artists were European. They were Caucasian. I'm like, wow, son.
That's right.
Crazy. Hey, yo, my mom's had me listen to Pat Benatar. Who was it? Blondie, Pat Benatar. There was a couple of others, man. My mom was like, nah. That's why I learned about Cyndi Lauper. Come on, man.
To all of them.
Yeah, but when 17 in high school, when I was 17 in high school, it was Black Moon, y'all, Big Daddy Kane still was kind of around. It was that's what it was. I wasn't, but I knew the song. But when y'all flipped it, I'm like, damn, yo, they really flipped Hall and Oates. Like, you know, and for years, a lot of people didn't realize that Hall and Oates wasn't black.
Right.
Yo, they a lot of people didn't realize that because it's so soulful.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Y'all was like, he had a vision before. You know, when we walked in the studio, DR had already knew that we was going to be part of the soundtrack. And then when he asked us if we wanted to be a part of it and we all agreed to it, he said, all right, listen to this. So D was like 10 steps ahead of all of us. And then when he played the joint, Khryst was like 10 steps ahead. He was just like, yo, I got the hook. And just went right and did the hook. And from that point, I don't even think me and Smooth, it took us not even longer than 20, 30 minutes to just write the verses because it was just, you know how things feel so good at that moment.
Right.
In that moment, you just like, yo, put it up. Khryst did the hook. And listen to the beat. I'm like, all right, I'm going first.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then Khryst went, then Smooth went. But that was just the feel and the vibe of it being in the studio at that time. You know, and I'm wow, we're gonna really do this, you know. So
it's really happening.
Yeah, it came out good, and we enjoyed shooting the video for it. You know,
DR Period got some bangers under his belt though. Didn't DR Period do How About Some Hardcore?
Yeah, DR. I'm gonna be honest with you, DR. If you really go into DR Period's track record, DR probably touched every artist in the industry.
Yeah, he got
More Money, More Murder for Nas and AZ too, right?
Yeah. I remember, I'm going to tell you this. I remember being at Next Level, when we were starting up Next Level, and Smooth and them would be in there recording and getting their stuff done. I remember from the Run DMCs to the Puff Daddies to, from the Buster, the Biggies, everybody would stop down there and come see DR. You know what I'm saying? And DR would give direction. I used to be in the other room sitting there. I'll be right in the studio listening. He would give so much direction to everybody on what type of songs to make people remember them or love them.
Right.
If you notice, DR always gave dudes their first underground hit.
That's a fact. Yeah.
To create who they are. Then they go out there and become big.
Right.
The one with the vision. And then he give every artist he worked with the vision. He give it to him first, the direction, the vision, how he want to produce them, or what direction the song should go, or anything like that. And if you a writer as an artist, then all you need is vision.
Yeah, that's what Khryst was saying though. Like Khryst was like, yo, that he's a producer's producer. Like he really produced the record.
DR's the first producer I really ever heard can take a beat and make you really think that you're walking through hell. Like literally, with the sound effects, with the gates and the doors closing, and this is incredible, and people don't know that. Like DR do a lot of commercials, a lot of video games. His hands is in a lot in the industry. Like I said, if you look at it, you'll be surprised how many scores, how many soundtracks this dude have touched in the industry. More.
Yeah, he got an ear sonically that's just unparalleled, man.
Y'all touch more soundtracks than any producer I know. And you got a lot of them out there that's top producers. So this top producers, yeah. When you do the homework on him, you'll be surprised on. You'll go, no, he didn't do that. Whoa, wait, he did that.
We might need to reach out to DR, son. Yeah. We need to get him on here, son.
Half of the commercials we hear on TV, DR do the beats for him. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's probably that television world is his world, and a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't even know. That's probably why.
So,
yo.
D is a download dude when it comes to production and stuff, but he's a genius, man. I watched him create artists, groups after group, after artist after group. Basically, all of us come from that whole circle of him when it comes to him creating and helping bringing out an artist for who they are.
Yeah.
From these to the MOPs to, you name them. You from the Papoose, you name them.
Yeah.
DR hands he should get an award for basically half of these artists in the industry.
Yeah.
These record labels wouldn't be eating off of them if they didn't go through his school of hard knocks. And that's just being real.
Yo, rumor has it though that you and Smooth Pen was responsible for a lot of a lot of records that was coming out back then
Yeah.
too.
I mean,
A lot of ghost riding.
yeah, I mean, a lot of artists. What it was, when you had a record label, a lot of people never knew. Even a lot of people that's themselves, the artists themselves didn't even know. A lot of times, because when you're doing a deal with a record label for publishing, or you're doing a publishing deal, you kind of don't want to put it out there that you're writing for certain artists, because you don't want to mess their career. You know how deep that can get. People go, oh, they ain't writing for themselves. They believe who they are now. Now it kind of mess up the money trail for the record label that's trying to push this artist out there.
Right.
As being an entertainer. So it kind of messes it up. So me and Smooth never really spoke on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you do a contract, you make your money, you shut up.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You don't.
That's it.
I'm not in the industry to put it out there to make no one feel less of their craft, because they can be good, dope writers, but just can't make good records.
Right.
Then
That's right.
Battle rappers and things like that can make real good records, but people don't pay attention to them. So I was one of them battle rappers that can make those good records, that I can help other people. If I'm walking in the studio with somebody, they could be stuck in there. I don't walk to studio sessions where guys is literally getting paid on the spot, and I walk in, I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, yo, I'm blank. I'm like, blank on what? They're like, I can't got nothing. I'm like, let me hit a beat. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like, I got the whole song for you. Come in the back. Let me just give you the lyrics.
Wow.
It's that simple. When me and Smooth and Khryst been writing for so long, that when people hear the Jay-Z walk in the studio and he just knocked out his song, I mean, we literally do that. So, and a lot of producers that work with us can tell you that offhand. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? But,
right. It's repetition. Y'all got repetition and putting them out there like that. It comes natural.
Yeah, come up with a subject on the spot, do the hook on the spot, knock the verses.
Right. Knock it out.
And like me and Smooth, we was on Tommy Boy. We knocked out the album for Tommy Boy in 9 days.
Damn.
9 days we did the album for Tommy Boy with all clearance, all producers, all top producers on the album, everything. And that time, that's when Nori and Capone was on there, and everybody was ordered. The label was getting ordered. There was a whole bunch of shit going on up there. And like I said, me and Smooth are tight. When we see the bullshit, we pull right out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
We don't let the shit lag and lean and nothing. We pull right out. We know we got our money already, so we gone. Like, you could call it how you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But we know when to pull out, stay in. It's just what it is. It's the street game turned over into a corporate world.
Yeah, they
Was
had
there a moment?
who was that's Silverman, right? But wasn't Martin Moore the dude? That dude Martin Moore was like the AR or something. A&R, right?
Yeah, well, that was up there. But see, it wasn't none of their fault. It was just things going on with the record label that they didn't want to tell the artist. And that's it. And artists was either smart to either release your project at that time or pull back. To me, it's never about, I know we all grind in this game for the money. To me, the money is to take care of my family. That's
period.
I'm right. Good. That's just what it is. I always been good all my life. And anybody know that I don't ask nobody for shit. Everybody that know me, so they know I've been good forever. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like the industry right now is going the right way for the young artists. You understand what I'm saying? When it comes to their revenue,
right?
Just gotta learn what to do with it.
Right.
Flashing it online ain't gonna get nowhere. Putting it in the bank is only giving the bank the money to use your money to
flip it. Right.
You understand? Artists have to be smarter and understand what to do with their money. And their money can help grow for the next person if they want to help someone else come up.
Right.
It's just where they put it at and where they place it at. If you got a lot of money to spend on jewelry and throw around that, you lose the value of all that the minute you put diamonds in it. So a lot of this jewelry, watches and all that, regular watches just with diamonds put in it, and then you lost the value anyway. I spend money on diamonds when you lose the value. It decreases unless you're getting something like a Rolex and you never put no diamonds in it and things like that, or the value stays the same.
Yeah.
But take that money and put it into something else. All these young guys that's out there that's getting that type of money, go open up a community center. You know what I'm saying? Just go get a license. All you need is a building. That's it. They got foreclosure buildings. They got buildings out there that people are selling. You know, buildings on the market right now you can go get from the city for hardly nothing.
Yeah.
Sean, what that sister tell us? There's over 5 million acres in New York City of lot land not bought.
Yeah, but that's not. You know
5
what?
million
That's not
acres.
the community center. You can't really flex with. Trig, I'm gonna let you go, but before I let you go, I want to ask you one last question. I'm gonna take it from the audience. So Havoc Kills 00 said, Trigger, when you gonna release the 50/50 Life is a Gamble digitally?
All right. For all of y'all out there, let me tell you something. This is one of the biggest conversations I just had at the end of the year with my whole team. So this year, just look out for it because they will be releasing it digitally.
Okay.
All right. So close to the summer. So just know that. And we got a whole lot of other stuff in store for y'all. Some surprises and everything. Because Smith Brothers, you know, we've been knocking out album after album. So me and Smooth,
Nice.
Time to start releasing these and getting them out there.
Put that shit out. Yeah, put that shit out, bro. For real, man. We need that.
This year.
We need that voice.
Definitely. I mean, Smooth. There's Hustlers albums, and I done knocked out the Gambler albums. We got so much material. We just sometimes, you know, we our worst critics, man. It's kind of hard. You sit back, we'll listen to our music. We have a whole studio of people. They'll be in there going crazy from A&R's owners, and then me and Smooth is sitting there like, yo, all right, we got to do 7 more joints. Like, you know, we ain't never satisfied. And it's crazy. I could be satisfied for something, but my brother, he's a genius in what he do. And I don't knock him for taking his time the way he want to. You know, I mean, he always been on my back like, yo, just don't release anything. Just don't get, you know, Smooth as a wordplay dude. You know, he grew up with him and the Big L's and the, you know, Biggie, the J's and all that. Like,
right.
And then the boot camps, you know what I'm saying? All that. Those are dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like straight Cocoa Brothers, Ruck and Rocks, you know, those are dudes. So Smooth grew up in that whole era of being, you know, a real writer when it comes to his lyrics. And so that is with me and him. You know, sometimes I'm like, yo, nigga, it's ready, let's go. And Smooth like, nah, because somebody said this in a record. Boom, boom, boom. After what we just said with this, and I'll be like, this nigga is like
he's a rap almanac, son. You're a rap almanac, yo.
I'm gonna say the shit and let it come out. Then somebody gonna say, yo, you know, such and such said something coincide. Are y'all talking about each other? And I let nigga just figure it out. But he catch that shit, and he's the type like, nah, we ain't playing that because niggas might take it the wrong way. And I understand him, and I respect him as my brother for what he do when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have been got us in some shit, to be honest with you.
My ace, my brother.
Yeah, that's the way my songs are. I'm straight point. I'm straight to the point. I'm forward. If I got something to say about rappers, I say their name. I just say it. I'm straight to it. And that's how it is. And my brother here, genius, because he know how to sugarcoat anything when it comes to the pen. You know what I'm saying? And he teach me that side of it. I'm learning more on that side now. Like, oh, okay, Smooth, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Hence the phrase smooth. That's what it is.
Well, yo, we wanna thank Trigger the Gambler as well as DV Alias Khryst. I know he had the pop out. He had told me earlier he had an appointment he had to go to. But yo, appreciate you definitely, bro, for popping in, for tagging in and dropping these jewels on us, man.
You know, I saw y'all in. I saw my genius on there, DV. You know, that's my little bro. Love him to death. You know what I'm saying? And he was speaking on some things, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just tag in and see what's going on.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you did.
You know, to help out the conversation with him. And it's all love to everybody that tuned in, to everybody that, you know, tagged on, and for the ones that's going to pick it up and watch it. It's nothing but love and respect coming from Smith in Christ. You know what I'm saying? And our SMG family.
Appreciate you. Thank you,
Peace and
everybody,
love,
for
bro.
tuning into No Ideas Original Podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.